Ladies and gents, welcome back. This story hits me a little bit close to heart, and if you're a fan of this channel, you've been watching for some time, you may know that my wife is from Japan. Japan is my second home. I spent some time living there, and well, it's become a cultural thing for my family. My children spend much time there with the in-laws, so this is going to hit me close to home. But this story is not specifically about Japan. It's about Canadians, people from our culture, behaving themselves when they go abroad. Now, the story is that a Canadian teenager carved his name into a Japanese treasure, and he's facing several penalties. And we'll find out what exactly those penalties are. But this is a trend that I've been seeing in recent times becoming very, very big. And it's not just in Japan, but this is examples from Japan. This is, of course, Logan Paul, a famous YouTuber who went over there and caused a lot of scenes.
Look at how it is in Japan. They're all about the respect. We're going to be respectful. LoganPaul.com/shop. Look, they just got loaves of bread. I'll take the whole thing. What's the issue?
This one is just for a display.
Oh, so we're going to be respectful. The Game Boy Color. How much? 9,500?
Okay, anyway, I mean, I've illustrated the point enough here, and there's many, many other cases where people have gone abroad and acted like absolute fools and have destroyed property. And I think that people like this should be made an example of, because this is when you go abroad, and I'm not just talking about Japan. When you go to other countries, you're wearing your flag on your sleeve. When people know where it is that you're coming from, they tend to make assumptions about all the people that come from those areas. You can call it a stereotype, you can call it what you will, but it's a thing that is accurate. It's a thing that happens, and it's a way people behave. It's a way people will understand how other people are by drawing assumptions based on how other people have behaved in the past. So here we have it. A 17-year-old Canadian teenager named Julian, visiting Japan with his parents, was caught in the act of defacing a UNESCO World Heritage site, Toshodaiji Temple. The temple, a cherished national monument from the 8th century in Nara, houses the historic Golden Hall, now married by the teen's name etched into a wooden pillar. Now, this isn't just a Japanese treasure. This is a World Heritage site. This is anthropology. This is going back throughout human history. This should be cherished by all, but when we see acts like this, it's very, very troubling, and especially when it's someone that comes from your own community that goes abroad and does this. This is where social pressures should come about. I mean, I know we talk about cancel culture and we talk about all these things, but ostracism should be placed on people who commit acts like this, especially when it has to do with everyone else's reputation being on the line. A Japanese tourist spotted the teen scratching his name into the pillar with his fingernail and reported the act of vandalism to the temple staff. Local police questioned the boy, accusing him of violating Japan's Cultural Properties Protection Law, which carries a penalty of up to 5 years in prison or a fine up to 300,000 yen, which is actually only about $2,000. I think in Canadian dollars, it would be roughly around $3,000. I think this is in US currency. In response, our dollar's not faring very well, is it? Holy cow, it just made me think of that. In response to the event, a temple monk told the Mainichi that even, sorry, that caught me off guard. No, the Mainichi, which is the everyday, even though many have been, though it may have been done without malice, it is still regrettable and sad. And well, it should not go without punishment, absolutely, in this case. The recent act is part of a distressing trend of tourist vandalism on treasured historical sites worldwide, such as the recent defacing of Rome's ancient Colosseum. And that is just absolutely insane to me. Now, the takeaway from this whole situation is this is our reputation on the line when it comes to world traveling. Canadians have always been seen as really good. In fact, a lot of Americans, as I traveled as a young man, a lot of Americans, I would find, would wear Canadian patches on their backpacks and stuff because Canadians had such a good reputation as opposed to some Americans in their travels. And well, the Logan Paul thing there was a pretty good case of that. Now, even in recent times, there's been vloggers. Here's a case of an American streamer who harassed people on a train. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of it. He started saying stuff. Anyway, a young American man from Texas came in, and of course, the racial things all came into play with this one. Later on, apparently that the man who had been streaming all across Japan later was beaten up and deported. This is sweet, such bitter sweet revenge, I guess, on that guy. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to our reputation. What kind of image do we want to put out there of ourselves? We need to hold our own accountable. So for any Canadians that go out there and behave badly, when people in your community, if you know these people, if you know of the events, of the circumstances around them, I think social ostracism is a good tool, or social punishment, just ways of letting people know that this is not what we stand for, and put that image out there, because it doesn't matter where in the world you go, you are wearing your flag on your sleeve. No matter what, people will find out where you're from if you're misbehaving, and this is not good for all of us. So main takeaway from this is behave yourself when you travel abroad. This is for the sake of all of us out there. And when it comes to World Heritage sites, this is all of ours. It's all of ours. These are national treasures. They're also human treasures of our historical past. So many things have been destroyed over the centuries. The things that we still have left are invaluable. They're just amazing things to have, and destruction of them should be it should never happen. It should absolutely never happen. Anyway, that's my takeaway from this one. You guys can leave your comments in the comment section down below. Let me just know what you think of this whole situation. Should this kid see the maximum penalties? Of course, it was 5 years in prison was the maximum penalty, or a slap on the wrist with a $3,000 fine. Well, just let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.